Welcome back to the Cartridge Twins, where today I want to talk about a game that I found really interesting. And that game, as you probably already know if you clicked on this video, is Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. So just to jump right in, this game is exactly what the title says. It's the origins of Bayonetta, so a prequel of sorts. You play as Cereza, the young witch, alongside your little stuffed animal friend who becomes a demon named Cheshire. It's a fun game, just to get that out of the way. It's a very interesting play style, which we're going to talk about a little later. But yeah, this is just the origins of Bayonetta, just to see how things started out for this witch and how she came to be. The first thing I really want to mention about this game up front is the visuals. It is a very visually pleasing game. They went with a picture book aesthetic and they did it very well. The whole time you really feel like you are taking part in this picture book as you progress through the game. It is visually stunning. I love the direction they went with it. And sometimes, and I'm going to mention this point again, I even felt like I was playing a Zelda-like title, maybe just because it was a little bit of the top-down aspect, and this visual style kind of just felt fresh and new, like a lot of the Zelda games usually do when you first play them. Just to keep harping on the Zelda point, I mean, aside from the kind of top-down perspective, it's an adventure game. You're opening chests, there's a great little jingle. A lot of the enemies I feel like could have been taken right out of Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. Like maybe they were some sample enemies that didn't quite make it in. And I think a lot can be said about the gameplay and the way you move through the game. It really did give me a lot of Zelda vibes. I mean, even a lot of the things that you're collecting reminded me of the Koroks. So, for example, you find these little wisp dudes to save. It was, in my mind, kind of felt like finding those Koroks. If I'm way off here, be sure to let me know. But even like with the soundtrack, which I really enjoyed throughout the entire game, it felt like it could be fitting for a Zelda title. So maybe this was kind of an experimental game that, who knows, maybe they were going to turn it into some other title of a game, whether it be Zelda or not, and then just kind of landed on, hey, why not do a Bayonetta game? I have no idea, but to me it really did give off a lot of Zelda vibes. So for me, let's talk about the most important part of any game, and that is the gameplay. And I felt like this game, it felt fresh, it was accessible, and at the same time experimental. You're controlling two characters at the same time, and I think they did a very good job of it. It takes a minute for your brain to kind of wrap it around, how do I do this? I'm controlling both characters. I think the difficulty level kind of makes up for it. It's not too hard of a game. Yeah, you could adjust some settings to make it a little more difficult or a little more on the easy side, but just with the normal settings, I think for me it was a good difficulty level, because controlling these two characters was something to definitely get a grasp of. But by the end of the game, you'll be flowing with it no problem whatsoever, and it felt really good to do. Basically, the combat comes down to Cereza locks them in these vines, basically, and then you have your little demon buddy Cheshire attack whoever's locked down. He can attack other things even if they're not locked up, but that's the gist of the combat. Cheshire can also take different forms, which helps break up the combat. So, example, he has like a water form, fire, etc. That can also help in solving the puzzles throughout the game, which are also pretty fun to do. The game's not overly long. I think I played about 15 hours. I did not complete the entire game. I did play the post game that you do unlock after beating it originally, but I didn't find all the goodies throughout the game. I think my percentage when I was done was about 84%, and that was fine by me. Will I go back and complete it? I mean, maybe it's been something that's on my mind because I did have a lot of fun with this game. So overall, I really enjoyed the story of the game. The controls were just nice and tight, especially once you got used to controlling the two characters at once, especially in battles. It was a great little action adventure title that caught me by surprise. I've never played any of the other Bayonetta games, and maybe I should, let me know. But it has sparked my interest in the franchise. I know it's a much different genre than what the original Bayonetta games are, but it was a blast, and I think it fits right in from my understanding and what I've read online with just any of the other Bayonetta games. So, in conclusion, I thought this was a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for something on the shorter side and just a new type of gameplay. This isn't one that I would usually play. Usually, I'm with my 3D platformers or 2D side scrollers, so this was a nice change of pace between games. And there you have it. Those are my thoughts on Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon on the Nintendo Switch. If you've played it, how do you feel about it? Should I play the other games in the Bayonetta series? Because I really have no idea about those games and if I would enjoy the playstyle or not. So let me know if you can. I would love that. And of course, as always, remember, without video games, things do not seem to go as well.